Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. Hello, Cannibalistic. How you doing? I hope you're doing all right. I am apparently awake at fucking almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I've already created a video for I've already made a video. It's after 3 in the morning. Okay. I've already made a video. That I've scheduled for 8 in the morning. And so I figured I would go live and we'd just watch some shit and have some fun. And maybe I'd play some Mortal Kombat and we just have a good time. Because I don't want to just lay in bed doing nothing. So
I just want to say really quick, thank you to all of our guests today. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourselves, everyone. Self-care is so important. I'm going to go get some good sleeps. I'll see you tomorrow probably. If not, I'll see you Tuesday.
On the Twitch homepage. There we go. So yeah, apparently I'm just awake. I hope I'm alive. Apparently I'm awake. And I'm not even, I'm just awake. Adero, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. Ready to have some fun. I've got a few videos pulled up, and who knows, we may go and pull up some more. Yeah, I don't know who knows where the stream will take us. Who knows? Who knows? Why are you awake at this time, may I ask? I don't know. My brain just decided to wake me up. I was asleep. I went to bed at 10. And I went to sleep, and then I just woke up at 1:40. And when I woke, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I just go back to sleep. But nope, not today. Today my brain was like, hey, 4 hours of sleep is plenty. You're fine. I didn't even brew coffee yet because it's 3 in the morning and I don't want to wake my husband up and shit because he just fell asleep. So I'm I'll just wait to brew coffee. I'm wide the fuck awake. It's weird. I am in Canada. I am in the southwestern part of Ontario in Canada. So that's where I'm from. So yeah, I'm just randomly awake for some reason. I don't know why. But here I am. I'm just awake. It's very strange. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. But oh well, here we are. And so like I said, I've got 2 videos pulled up right now. I think we'll start with our August the Duck video. Yeah, we'll start with August the Duck, and then we'll go to Papa Meat and watch our scary PSA videos. Cause holy shit, those are some crazy ass videos. And if you'd like to support the stream, you can go to streamlabs.com/blindpress/tip. Because this stream is brought to you by you, and this is what I do for a job. This is my job. I am a content creator. Alright, so apparently there's a principal who needs to be fired. And so we are going to learn, because always has these fun videos for us. We're gonna learn about why this principal should be fired.
You made him take his pants off, Doug.
What?
You made him take his pants off, Doug. I don't care what he had on underneath it. You made him take his pants off.
You can go ahead and do whatever you want with that.
Nobody was in here.
You can do whatever you want with that.
Inappropriate.
And I'm okay with that.
That's okay. I don't even need the context. The principal needs to go away.
Do whatever you want.
Well, guys, today's a pretty bad one. We've seen a lot of not so great stuff on TikTok, but usually the repercussions of those videos are limited to it just not being super pleasant to the senses. Today, not so much. Now, usually, I don't really cover a whole lot of stuff that happens in, quote, real life. Obviously, most of the things I talk about are involving real people, but it's all stuff that happens on the internet generally. Yeah. It's not people disconnected from the internet. Most of the bad things I talk about, even though they are technically happening in real life, they are things people are doing on purpose in order to make content for the internet.
Yes, there is a distinction. There is a distinction between laughing at real life stuff or looking at real life stuff and looking at what's going on the internet that is posted in it's posted in where is it called, it's different if it's posted by a normie on the internet, unless other than if it's posted for clicks on the internet.
But every now and then an isolated incident will happen that I'll somehow hear about, and usually through a combination of what happened being bad enough and seemingly nobody talking about it, I feel inclined to do so myself. For example, a week or two ago when I made that video on that plastic company where multiple employees passed away in the floods of Hurricane Helene.
Oh yeah! That terrible apology video that they put out.
Couple that with the awful apology video made by the CEO, I felt like it needed talking about. And today we find ourselves in what is kind of a similar situation. Nothing to do with the hurricane today, but I found myself in a similar situation. The other day, either through Reddit or Twitter, I can't really remember which one. Whichever one you think is worse to use, just assume I was using the other one. Okay.
I love that. Whichever one you think is worse, just assume I was using the other one. I like that. I like that a lot. That's funny.
Okay. I came across a video of a mother at her son's school confronting the school's principal for strip searching her child to find a phone. From the TikTok account Twinklies85, who is the mother of the child in this situation, we got a few videos of her talking to the principal and them discussing what happened, which was that Mr. Douglas Ford here thought it would be acceptable to take
Mr. Douglas Ford? I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at the fact that this asshole has the same name as my fucking premier. That's fucking hilarious.
A teenage boy behind closed doors in his office alone and make him take his pants off to find his cell phone. If you're a person who thinks that something like this is okay, a grown man, a principal who holds power over a child, making them take their pants off for them in their office alone, well then you need to be on a list.
Yeah, several lists. And if your response to this is not, well, I would make the principal take his pants off and then I'd fucking beat his ass with a fucking belt for touching my fucking child, strip searching my kid for a fucking phone.
And before you ask, no, this is not some he said, she said situation. The principal defends doing this in these videos. He defends the fact and he tries to reason with the mother that this is an okay thing to do. It's batshit insane and it's pretty anger-inducing, which is why I've brought it to you. It's something that I sort of figured more people would be talking about, and honestly, I think if one key aspect of this whole situation was changed, they would be, but we'll get into that later. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin.
Please subscribe.
What's your beef? I mean, you
What do you
called
mean,
it.
what's my beef?
What is your beef? You clearly have some beef.
Insubordination.
Insubordination? What is this? The army? Are we at military school? I don't understand. Why is this happening?
Subordination. You made him take
Not
his pants
following
off last
directions.
week in your office with just you behind closed doors.
Okay,
That's
he had
appropriate.
shorts
I
on.
don't give a fuck.
Okay, so there's two parts to this. This is the first one. Apparently there's like 15 minutes of footage, but not all of it is uploaded. But right off the bat, I find it very interesting how this guy thinks it's some sort of real defense to say he had shorts on. Like, that's not something you would know until you had him take his pants off.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if he has shorts on. It doesn't matter if he's got long underwear on and shorts on underneath that. You made the kid take his pants off. That's unacceptable. That is not okay.
I mean, the guy could have been going commando. You don't know that he has shorts on underneath until you see them. Acting like that makes it better whatsoever is insane.
If a girl come in here with shorts on under her skirt, you're allowed to let her take the skirt off?
So
Absolutely
we're
not.
just going to disregard the fact that he's going to blatantly refuse to listen and follow our.
Okay, so for some reason this video cuts off there, but it's just kind of crazy to me how adamantly this guy is defending this. Like,
yeah, are you gonna say that? Are you gonna disregard that he's not listening to me? Dude, you made him take his pants off. I don't care if he's not listening to you at this point. You've negated his not listening by making him take his pants off. That is... no. Just no.
why is this the hill you're gonna die on? The hill of I like to make students take their pants off is not exactly one you want to be on.
No.
Look, it would be one thing if this kid had drugs or a weapon or something. You commit a crime, you put other people in danger, you forfeit a lot of your privacy. But having your phone out in class? Look, I have a friend who's a teacher and they tell me all the time how big of a problem phones in classrooms are right now. I get it. But this is unacceptable.
Yeah, there are many ways to deal with having a student have their phone in class. We do not need to be strip searching the students. We do not need to be defending strip searching the students.
They're not this big of a problem.
Cell phones, that should be a rule then. They're not allowed to have it in the building, period.
Oh, so diapers for everybody.
What does that mean?
So it
Because
means one
one
person
person-
poops their pants, everybody.
No,
gets
that's your
diapers.
rule. That's your fucking rule. They
No.
can't have phones in the
my
school.
rule is you can't have them in the classroom.
So where do you want them?
They can't be visible or used in the classroom.
Bro,
He
come
broke
on
that
now.
rule.
No, you are just
Listen,
tit
I
for
don't
tat.
have this problem with
I'm sure you don't. With
99%
nobody,
of the
right?
kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a person with a functioning brain, I'm going to tell you right now that this guy is 100% talking out of his ass. I don't care if I have no way to prove it. If you're really going to sit here and tell me that 99% of the children that attend your high school don't have their phones out in class ever.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That is straight bullshit. You can't tell me that 99% of the school doesn't have their phones out at some point in class. Even as a calculator. Like, you just can't tell me that.
You're full of shit. I mean, come on, let's be real. Everybody in this country has their phone up their ass 24/7. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people do. Phones have been banned in schools or heavily regulated since the 90s. This is not a new problem, and it's probably the worst it's ever been right now. A lot of schools are starting to ban phones entirely again. You can't even bring them onto campus. For this guy to say that only 1% of his students are using their phones during school time, if you have an ounce of critical thinking skills, you know that's horseshit.
Yeah. There's no way that that's true. There's no way that that's happening. There's absolutely no possible way that he is the only kid using his phone. Like, that is absolutely bullshit. That is absolutely bullshit. There's no way. Nobody's gonna believe that. Like, this principal needs to go.
Nobody.
99%.
I'm sure.
That 0 is nobody.
Now you're just picking. Now, what did he do today? He was sitting with his brother in the lunchroom, and you tell him he's got an assigned seat? Does everybody have an assigned seat?
Yes.
Everybody in this school has.
Everybody has an assigned seat in the cafeteria. What is this, elementary school?
Assigned
Certainly
seat.
does.
This whole school has assigned seats.
I tell them towards a few weeks into school, these are your seats. We'll change it the semester.
No, you don't. If you do, you're a micromanaging fuck. If you're telling high school students where they can sit in a cafeteria, you are micromanaging.
That's always been what I've done.
Every single person. I've never heard that.
Because here's what happens. They'll take somebody's seat that, well, I sit there.
It's an
now
open
it becomes a
lunchroom.
problem.
Okay, so not only are assigned seats at lunch for high schoolers the dumbest shit I've ever heard of.
Thank you, August. That's I don't believe that for a second. That there's assigned seating in the open lunchroom for high school students. That is no.
If you go through the comment section of this video, a bunch of parents and a bunch of students at the school are chiming in saying they've never heard of assigned seats and that they don't have assigned seats. And usually I'd be like, take all of that with a grain of salt, and I'll still say that, but like I said, nobody's really talking about this yet. There's only a couple hundred comments on this video. It seems to have not really left the sphere of the people directly involved in this or the people who go to this school, which
that's not okay. This needs to be like viral. I'm sorry. I don't necessarily always agree with shit needing to go viral. This is something that needs to go viral.
makes me think that maybe these comments are a bit more trustworthy.
It's an open lunchroom.
But when I have repeated issues with a table because they like to play with food.
Play with food? What are they, 7?
Repeated issues with a table because they like to play with food.
Repeated. Diapers for everybody then?
Well, it's diapers for that
yeah,
table.
Okay,
sure.
Yeah. Just, you're picking and fucking choosing is what you're doing.
And your son is half the problem, probably.
I'm sure.
Okay, so a few things here. It really seems like this guy's kind of making up the rules as it goes.
Yeah. There are people that are playing with food, so they get assigned seating. No, dude, I don't believe you. I'm sorry.
Saying that it's unacceptable for everybody to not be allowed to have their phones and be diapers for everybody. But for some reason, when it comes to the lunchroom, that's a perfectly fine solution. And then saying that this kid is half the problem. Look, that might be the case. This kid might be a troublemaker. Who knows? I don't know the situation on that. It doesn't change the fact that no matter how bad a student is, as a principal, you don't strip search them for an iPhone.
No. The location of the iPhone is really not that big of a deal. We really don't need that big of a we don't need to strip search for the iPhone. I'm
Nothing
sorry.
changes that.
He will be the whole fucking problem, and I will be your whole problem too, Doug. Because this is bullshit.
Bring it on, I don't care.
Because now you're just picking at him. Now he got you in trouble for fucking making him take his pants off, and now this week, now we have another issue.
I got
now
in trouble?
you
What did I get in
will.
trouble
You
for?
will. I promise you, you will.
Okay.
You are not allowed to do that as a school official.
told me I got in
asked the
trouble.
police
Yeah.
if they could do that. If they could do that, they said they cannot.
Yeah, the cops can't even make you take your pants off. And shit, like they'll pat you down and whatever, but they can't make you take your pants off and shit.
Cannot either. Okay. You know that. As a fucking parent,
Are
you
guys
should
gonna
never.
follow the rules here or not?
What a fucking weirdo. Acts like he should have zero repercussions for making a kid take his pants off. Saying, oh, I'm in trouble? Really? I'm gonna get in trouble? I mean, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that, like, egging her on, that is, I wish I had the original video to this, because I kind of wish, like, I wish I had, like, I love August, But I wish I had the original video.
Yeah, you likely will, dude. Stuff takes time. And then saying, are you going to follow the rules or not? Really just tripling down that this is somehow an appropriate punishment. I'll tell you what, it takes a very strange man to do something like this. I actually looked through the Delta High School handbook, and there's no mention of strip searching if you get caught with an iPhone. This is something this guy wanted to do. Maybe I'm just hanging out with the right people, but I don't know anybody who would willingly strip search a teenager alone in an office.
No, that's like you even if you're strip search like as an officer, you don't do it alone. Like this is
not something this guy had to do. He wanted to.
Clearly not.
If not,
clearly
what are
your
we gonna
rules
do?
are
What's
for
the solution
your
here?
rules are picking and choosing for who you want the rules to
That's
work
not
for.
true.
That is absolutely true.
That's not true.
Then I'm gonna go in there and ask every single classmate, do you have an assigned seat at lunch?
You shouldn't leave the office.
Do you have an assigned seat at lunch?
you shouldn't leave the office. Yeah, why? Because you'll go find things out that you'll go find out that I'm lying.
Are they all gonna say they do?
They're gonna say, yeah, I sit at the same seat. I don't bounce around the
Dude, you're just making fucking. I don't care. That's not. He's not doing anything wrong by bouncing seats.
You can follow the rules.
He's not doing anything wrong by
So let's go
going
back
and
to the
sitting
cell
with his
phone
brother.
So honestly, based off what I'm hearing, it really does sound like the whole assigned seat thing is bullshit. When she says she's going to go ask students if they have assigned seats, he says, yeah, they're going to say they don't bounce around, which is not the same thing as having an assigned seat.
No.
And then when she says he's not doing anything wrong, he doesn't say, yes, he is. They have assigned seats and he wasn't in his. He says, okay, then let's go back to the phone thing, which to me sounds like him saying, okay, well, he wasn't breaking the rules then, but he was here. That's just the way I'm interpreting it. Sounds kind of...
You're not wrong there, August. That is a very good, apt way of interpreting that. That is, like, there's no really other way to take that line. Like, take that sentence.
Weird, though.
When I need to get control of a disruptive table at lunch, I am within every right.
Was he being disruptive today?
He's got a pattern.
Was he being disruptive today?
Yes, because
no, he
his
wasn't.
assigned seat.
You just are picking and choosing because of diapers of somebody else's shit in the past. Because he went and sat at a table, nothing was going on, but since something happened in the past, now you're going to come up and say, hey, you can't sit there.
The rules or not?
I don't go to school here. I don't have to follow any rules that you have.
Reinforce them.
I do reinforce rules, but when you're acting funny and having him take his pants off, then the next week when I come into school, I really don't have any respect for you anymore.
Okay.
Boom. Boom. Nor should you. Nor should you have respect for him anymore. He did something completely wrong. He did something completely wrong, completely out of legal bounds. He had no business getting this kid to take his pants off
at all.
That is fine. We don't have to have respect for each other.
It is absolutely batshit insane to me that this guy is sitting here genuinely defending the fact that he made a kid take his pants off. I mean, that's insane. Yeah. I used to volunteer coach. I've worked at schools before. I've worked with teachers. This is insane behavior. There is no circumstance where this is acceptable. If you are in a situation where a strip search is actually necessary, the police should be there and they should be the ones conducting it.
Absolutely. There's no reason a teacher or a principal should be strip searching. It should be a police officer.
Not you as a principal. There's something wrong with this guy.
I just want to say, how does that change the violation? There was a violation. Can we acknowledge that he had his cell phone?
He had his cell phone, right?
Okay.
Right.
So I want to.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Correct.
And if he would have said that and called me, and then the pants thing wouldn't have happened, no problem. He would have served that detention.
So because something happened
during it,
and a manner which that erases the violation.
That did, in my eyes.
If I get caught for speeding, and then the cop did whatever he did, that changes the fact that I broke the law.
Yeah, absolutely it does. That happens literally.
Yes, it does. If you are caught speeding and then the cop fucking takes out his billy club and knocks you unconscious and then says, oh, well, he wasn't following orders. He didn't give me his driver's license, insurance, and registration, so I fucking knocked him out. Guess what? You're not paying that speeding ticket anymore, and you're gonna win a fucking lawsuit.
Really all the time. Evidence is obtained illegally, police protocols not followed, things get thrown out the window all the time when certain standards are not met. Yeah, that happens literally every day, man. What a terrible analogy. Also, what a terrible thing to try and say to justify the fact that this grown man made a teenage boy take his pants off. Why are you guys so comfortable moving past that? Like, seriously, that's crazy. But that's where the video and I'm sure this TikTok account will be uploading more as the days come if you guys want to go check that out. I'm really surprised that I haven't heard about this anywhere else, and I honestly think that it might be because of who this happened to. I saw a lot of comments mentioning this on these videos. The mother seems to have a similar sentiment. I think because this happened to a boy, a lot of people don't care. If this...
Yeah. No, he's not wrong. It's true. If this were a girl and this principal forced her to take her skirt off or something, he would have been fired like 5 minutes ago.
This was a teenage girl. This would be shared by every Facebook and Twitter account imaginable. And for good reason.
For sure.
That's how it should be when this happens to any child. This is completely unacceptable, and I really hope the higher-ups in this school district do something. Otherwise, the children who go to this school are at risk. This is not somebody who should be around children. Well, guys, what do you think?
Not at
If
all.
you were the parent in this situation, how do you think you would react?
If I was the parent in this situation, there would be lots of hell to pay. If Pink Hollow and I were the parents in this situation, this principal, this would not be anywhere close to even as calm a conversation as it was. As much as it wasn't calm, because she was pretty loud, it would be... I'm sure there wouldn't be much of a conversation. Let's just say that. Because I don't know how you have a conversation with somebody like that. I don't know how you just... how they can justify something like that. I just don't understand. There's no justification for it. There's no way to justify taking off a kid's pants just to look for a phone. I just, oh, that's creepy. Oh my God, that's creepy. Oh, speaking of creepy, are you ready for some horrifying public service announcement videos? From the UK? Because I've got a Papa Meat video for us to look at, because he found some scary ones from the UK. So let's take a look.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down, because today we're talking about PSAs. Public service announcements. More importantly, children's public service announcements. I think we all are afraid of our children slipping, getting hurt, abducted, eating something they shouldn't, and the only way for them to digest this information is in video format. And today we're going to be talking about a very strange, albeit fascinating, children's PSA that happened overseas in Great Britain back in the 1970s, eh?
Oh boy, 70s PSA.
When, you know what, telling the kid, you just had to be a little more blunt with it. You had to traumatize children back then. That's one thing we don't have now, is we don't have traumatizing media. Sometimes, like let's say if you needed to warn a child not to play near a power line, you would make a following video that maybe goes like this.
Go on, get it. We're not supposed to go in there. Oh, go on, there's a gap down there.
Oh, that's just perfectly placed on it too.
Go
It's
on,
just like
go
so
on.
inviting
There's a
too.
gap down there, go get it.
We're just on this fancy shaped pieces of metal. Come on in.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh God!
Good God! He exploded.
He just literally exploded. What the fuck?
From the shit.
Climb, 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 climb.
Good God! He exploded from the shins too. You know, you're probably thinking, well, that's gonna scare the children. Well, why? There's probably not any others, right?
Oh God.
When you fly your kite or model plane, remember you're in charge of a flying machine. Pilots have to observe safety rules. So must you.
The amount of kite flyers who probably got electrocuted or exploded must have been, I mean, catastrophically huge, right?
These are probably gonna scare the shit out of me, aren't they? This is gonna be like when AP plays these crazy ass PSA videos.
Have you ever seen anyone unironically fly a kite? That has to be a thing of the past, right?
No.
At the beach? Okay. I mean, that feels different than just being like in my backyard. Probably gets people blown up for the shins. Just immediately standing next to a power line.
Why would you stand next to a power line with a kite? This is a bad PSA.
Or nylon can conduct electricity, especially when they're wet.
Watch out!
Watch out! Oh no! Watch out, Timmy!
Watch out! There can't be any more of them, right?
Fuck.
Stay out.
Okay. All right. Moving on from
Oh my.
Or maybe you just want to have a video talking about how teach your kids why you need to wear a seatbelt, right? Timmy, I'm gonna teach you know how we're in the car and mom drinks a lot, and you have to buckle up in the back seat. If you
Fucking Hunter. You know how mom drinks a lot. My God.
don't, this is what's gonna happen. Press play, Michael.
Like most victims, Julie knew her killer. It was her son. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt. After crushing her to death, he sat back down.
Oh my God! What the fuck?
Think. Always wear a seatbelt.
Oh my God!
Jesus Christ!
This does not help women drivers and the plague that surrounds them.
That was fucking terrifying. What the hell was that for? We don't need that shit. Oh my God.
Justice for women drivers. Justice for us men on the road, am I right? Or what about fireworks safety? You know, sometimes you like to get a couple Chinese firecrackers and have some fun with your friends. I think that's fine. I really wish that there was some kind of video that helped you know how to be safe, though.
Yeah, well, you're too strict, you are.
I'm not strict, I'm fair. Not out Kevin in the arm, is it?
Yeah, you can't hold kids back, though.
I'm saying hold him back.
I'm sorry, Hunter. Is something funny?
Oh my God. These are, I don't even need to see to know how fucked up these are.
I'm saying there's such a thing as discipline. Fair discipline.
I like the kid. I like his buddy just running away. Where is Kevin this afternoon with all those Oriental fireworks, eh? That can't be right, huh? Probably shouldn't say that, huh? All right, anyways.
For over a generation. And that's about the way
it makes it delicious.
Wait! I want to thank our great to the customer service that they have. It's time, man, up in your own video, and hey, let's get back to the video.
The list of public safety videos
goes
on and on. Any particular kind of harmful incident, the British have probably made a horrifying public service announcement video about it. But there's some that I just want to take time to talk about today that I found truly remarkable, especially because it feels so oddly specific, yet here we are, okay?
On George and Betty's night of romance, things got a bit too hot to handle.
Before we dive into these, we need to talk about a little bit of backstory to the old UK and some of the stuff that's been happening around there, eh? After World War II, the British government wanted to educate the public on safety issues that were prevalent within society. It's funny that it's kites and it's
kites and farm equipment and electricity.
And farm equipment, it's what it's going to be. So the Central Office of Information, or the COI for short, started to produce public information films, aka PIFs. These were safety videos on how to survive a nuclear attack, protecting the environment, or not wasting water. They started off fairly tame from the 40s to 60s, but by the time the 70s rolled around, COI wanted to throw a wrench in how the information was being showcased. Instead of just telling people safety information through boring educational videos, they decided that it would be much more effective to create brutal films and commercials showcasing children dying in various dangerous scenarios.
Oh yeah, that'll stick with you. You won't fuck up again if you're that terrified.
That's a big ramp up immediately.
Yeah.
60s is just someone just being like, why don't you just turn off the faucet, eh? And the next one, it's a girl like drowning in a bathtub. The COI hired fresh film students to basically make horror films for the public to scare children into this information. I don't know if they really digested it, but let me tell you, their attention was certainly grabbed.
Yeah, I don't know if I certainly remember the Tweety Bird one. Don't play with the hot faucets. I remember that. I don't remember any like terrifying, horrifying PSAs from my childhood, though.
The director specifically looked at Hollywood horror and Western films in order to imitate their styles of suspense and gore. And they're awesome, okay? They are awesome. And since these were labeled as educational films, the directors were given a lot more freedom with censorship and were able to show much more graphic content than was allowed at the time. This was during the age of video nasties where films were getting banned and stuff. And to have the government, to have the Queen just be like, oh, I don't really care, just make it. It's pretty crazy. To be fair, especially child death. It's a big no-no. Still it is today.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really see like child death in movies.
It's like, who gives a whenever there's a movie where like a kid gets stabbed to death, I'm like, because it's like, why not? Well, I don't want it to be an unlikable film. It's about a serial murderer. Hello?
That's why The Blob is awesome.
Yeah, when the kid gets sucked down in The Blob, that's a moment where everyone triumphs together. You don't need to go Lars von Trier, where it's a dad hunting children, right? But I'm just
yeah, we don't need that.
I'm saying if they're already in the war path, let them go. Now we are graced with a plethora of these beautiful masterpieces of educational art.
Okay.
And there are dozens of PSA videos made during this era, but I just want to focus on a couple that stand out to moi. The first is a haunting commercial called Lonely Water, which showcases the Grim Reaper taunting children to come jump in a body of water.
It seems too ordinary, but that pool is deep. The boy is showing off. The bank is slippery.
It's like it's like the Lady of the Lake.
That's disturbing. That's disturbing as fuck.
You know what I mean? No, it's not just like King Arthur. The video is aimed to warn children of the dangers of careless or foolhardy behavior in the vicinity of water. Any body of water. The Grim Reaper will show up and be like, come on in. Lonely Water is widely recalled as one of the most memorable and chilling PSAs of all time. This film campaign actually worked as many viewers were scared to swim in dangerous waters. Some even said that they were too frightened to swim at all.
Yeah, I bet. You expect, like, you got the Grim Reaper showing up, pulling the kid in by the fucking leg. Like, no thank you. I'm...
Come on, Tommy, let's just go to the pool. Just like, well, so I can have the Grim Reaper grab me by the ankles and drag me below? You, some even some...
Hello?
Or mom, my bad. This PSA caused a lot of nightmares with young British children. And when I say a lot of nightmares, I mean, I think that it was reported, I think people even complained that my child is suffering from night terrors because the Grim Reaper is in our bathtub now, okay?
Yeah. That would have fucked me up if I saw that when I was a kid. That really would have screwed with me.
I'll be back.
Moving on, we have my personal favorite. This is an offensive one. We need to just get that one out of the way, all right? Because we're going to talk about the PSA from 1975 labeled Apaches. This 26-minute long film addresses the dangers of children digging around on farms. If you're a farmer in Britain, I imagine you have to have several children, because at least a couple. The way this PSA plays out, you're losing a couple kids, and no one seems to mind. And this PSA has been played in schools all over Britain, Canada, Australia, and even the United States. It's that infamous, it's that popular. The production value is amazing. If you put up a side-by-side of Solo, 100 Days of Sodom, and Apaches, you would not know the difference, the quality of, it's like, it looks like any other film that came out of that time.
I honestly never got to see this as a kid.
The plot follows 6 young children. They're all ages 8 to 10 years old. You have Kim, Sharon, Michael, the daft one.
Michael's wearing a red band. He's daft. The Apaches never wore red.
Danny, aka Geronimo! Tom and Robert, as they play on a nearby farm pretending to be Apache Indians. Just want to say right now, Hollywood did a lot of damage to the perception of Native Americans of this country, so if that's the case, just know, blame the British. You know, this is 1975 Britain. I don't think they really give a good eye. And throughout the film, the children...
Well, fuck, do you guys remember the Peter Pan? Do you guys remember Peter Pan? Like, oh my god.
This is 1975 Britain. I don't think they really give a good eye. And throughout the film, the children are brutally killed on various different farming-related accidents, okay? This is not a directorial kind of like, watch out for moving vehicles. Nope, it's just kind of like, you were in the road. What do you expect? First death goes, the kids are all running around like a bunch of lunatics when Kim decides to hop on the back of a moving truck. As Kim is cheering for victory, the truck driver slams on his brakes, causing Kim to go flying headfirst into the tires.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh. Smash.
I'm sorry, Hunter, is something funny?
I bet you that kid actor actually like fell in there and they're like, grab him! And then they went in and cut it. You put the dummy in there, which...
Yeah, that probably happened. Oh my god, that kid actor probably actually got hurt.
Lesson 1, don't play on trucks, I think is what they're trying to say. Don't be jumping on moving vehicles, okay? And what's really up, you'll see with all of these, this is a similar motif, is that after a child dies, there is some kind of adult who comes and is getting rid of them, like getting rid of their stuff. Like in this one, the first one is they remove, there's like all these like filled coats on hangers, and then there's one empty one, and they go up and they remove the tag, and it's like so haunting. That's
so sad and terrifying at the same time. Oh my god.
So tragically fucking bleak and dark. It's unreal. And they do this every time to hammer it home. It's a fun watch. Also, here's another thing too. The kids, they're playing every time. Every scenario, it's never them just being like, watch out! Like they're walking home. Look out! Never.
So every single time they're playing it, so do they even care that one of them is no longer there?
For that, they're always playing. So we have no idea the lapse of time between them. So it almost reads as either the first day or just the next day, and they just don't care.
Oh. Okay, well that makes it even worse.
No one cares. But a day or two passes and the kids are back on the farm again, this time playing kick the can and hide and go seek. I've played hide and seek, but the kick the can part was very odd. It did make
Yeah, I've never played kick the can, at least not on purpose.
me feel, I was like, this is like an old European thing, okay? Because here in America, we just close our eyes. We don't have to kick a can. Watching the kids run around and they keep focusing in, they're doing a really good job by holding the suspense, but you just know, you're like, oh, yep, there's gonna be a scythe that comes down and hits the girl in the neck, or oh, I bet that bull's gonna kick that kid in half. We finally get to death.
Kick the kid in half. That, even for a bull, that would be impressive.
Number 2. Tom is being chased by Danny, and whoops, Tom slips in the slurry pit, aka it's just a pit full of cow shit, and he drowns.
Oh.
Daddy!
Jesus.
Daddy! Daddy!
What the fuck? Danny! Danny! Blub, blub, blub. What the fuck?
I hate that shot when they show the kid looking like this. Because it makes me think, I'm like, oh, he knows he's in there and he's not saying anything. Ah! And then he just drowns immediately.
That's so fucked up. He's just like, Daddy, bubbles.
You're especially in shit water. That's all poop. It's a
Oh, what a horrible way to die. That's so fucking Jesus Christ. These were for kids.
slurry pit. Which I want to say, Danny looking off was very suspicious. By this one, you can kind of tell, too, he's kind of the leader of the group. He's kind of our main guy. Lesson 2, don't play near pits of hell and shit. I guess this one could also be water.
I think it's specifically the slurry pits, because that was like a big problem.
Oh, so it's okay. So this one is just for the time, they're just like, these kids, goddamn. We're having to scour and scuba dive down these slurry pits to find all these pale beauties.
A decade or so later, they had to tell farmers to cover up their slurry pits.
Oh, wow.
It was that bad.
That many.
That's crazy. That many kids are falling into the slurry pits and fucking drowning and dying. That's terrifying.
British children were falling into slurry pits where they're just like, I hate to do this to everyone, but we're just gonna have to throw a net over all of it. With the second death, they take stuff out of his desk. Once again, another very tragic thing. But then it's just once we don't see anybody mourn. Usually, that's why I was surprised here, because
nobody cares that there are 2 dead children. Let's move on. Let's just move on here. Everybody just move along, people. Nothing to see here.
I expected to see like a mom. You know what I mean? We move on to death number 3. Which more time passes, once again, could be 30 minutes, could be a day, not enough time. We know that the kids are back on the farm again, and boy oh boy are they playing. This time, the kids all huddle around each other and pour a mysterious liquid from a bottle they found in the barn.
Oh.
And there is, I'm pretty sure, a part where one of the British kids says something like, a little bit of firewater from the white face.
In celebration of our victory, we will drink the white man's firewater.
Wow. Okay, that's highly offensive.
Even when I heard that, I was like, no, the smart ones of the group just pretend to drink the poison, but Sharon actually takes a drink from this non-labeled cup. I thought,
oh well, that's why did you do that, Sharon?
the acting here was kind of good because she like took a sip of it and she's like,
You alright, Sharon? Yeah, I think so.
are you okay, Sharon?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm okay.
Sharon? But later that night, we see Sharon go into a house. We cut, it's nighttime, and then it's just horrible, horrible child screaming. I mean, it's wild. And once again, you cut to the next day, and the mom is just taking shit out of her room.
Oh, well, that kid's just gone now. Oh, well, I guess I'll just make another kid. Oh, my God. What
like,
the
that
fuck?
one's gone. That's why earlier, too, I was like, these guys gotta have, like, 8 children. They're like, well, there goes Sharon. Yeah, can I make it me room, Mom? Their lesson 3 is don't drink mysterious liquids. You dumb little bitch. It's
yeah, don't drink the unlabeled. Don't drink the firewater.
I mean, I felt so mad because I actually like Sharon. Out of all the kids, I was like, she seemed the coolest. We move on to death number 4. The next day, the kids go back to playing without any time to mourn once again, and we're gonna beat that to death. I cannot tell you, this is a no-fat 20 minutes, okay? There's no room for emotion. This is just telling you how it is.
Yeah, no grieving. There's no grief in this dojo.
Ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3. Freeze! Stop and look out! Ah!
What the fuck? Oh, did the gate just fall on the kid? Yeah, it did. A big chunk of metal just fell on the kid. And everyone's just like standing there. Nobody makes a noise. Nobody does anything. They're just like, oh, and scene.
I love how every time a child dies, it has to be Danny doing. Also, in my mind, I was like, if I was that, I wouldn't die from that. But lesson 4 is watch your surroundings.
Don't get hit by metal gates.
Don't get hit by metal gates.
Let things fall on top of you. I was kind of like, this one felt like the actual first accident. Everything else felt like a stupid act. I was like, leading into death, number 5. At this point, there are only 2 kids left to play Apaches. And
That's crazy. Like, they're still playing Apaches. There's only 2 of them left. That's so sad.
Let me tell you, it's a somber scene on top of the hill. You guys are really still gonna play the fucking game after all your friends have died this week? You know what I mean? Danny goes up this hill and he's talking to some of the old blokes at the top of the hill. And he gets on a tractor. The guy's like, be careful. He's like, yeah, piss off. Immediately releases the brakes. I mean, almost instantaneously.
I actually knew a kid when I was in daycare a long time ago. His younger brother released the parking brake on his mom's car, and the kid basically jumped into the driver's seat to pull the brake again, and like help his brother out, and ended up breaking his arm because the car was still like moving when he jumped. I can't remember how it happened exactly, but this reminds me of that scene.
This is probably the funniest death just because the tractor is going so slow. You're screaming at the movie the entire time, jump off. For the love of God, Danny, jump off. Your name is Geronimo, jump off. It's so slow. Even the guys that turn around, they're confused. They're just like, jump off. Help!
Smash! Ooh, the drum beat is.
There's just something creepy about a small British child being like, ah! And then just like seeing like a dummy with like, they like tape or glue the hands to the steering wheel and it's just like going down a hill. They barely hold a fucking beat before they show his mom just sitting in his room like. It's the first time that we see any emotion from anybody of someone being like, this was his room.
Just so fucked up. Oh my god.
Lessons, of course, is being stay off heavy machinery, right? The film ends with only 1 child surviving, which is Michael. I was surprised he was kind of the most, But Danny mentioned earlier in the film that his parents were preparing for a party because they're in between. He's just like, I don't understand why adults like parties. Turns out that was future stuff and that they were preparing for Danny's what do you call after a funeral? Wake? Whatever, his after funeral party. It's so crazy because they're all sitting there and they do not look like they could give any fucks at all. They're like, are you gonna pass the corn? Pretty nice.
Nobody cares about poor Danny.
It's day to day, right? That's it. And then while this awkward clattering of plates happens, they show a list of all of the kids in Britain who have died like that year from all of these things. A lot of explosions. A haunting amount of explosions. Okay? People being crushed, drowned, it leaves a weird taste in your mouth, okay?
There's a lot of death in Britain apparently. I guess these PSAs were definitely needed to keep people from falling in slurry pits and drinking poisons and jumping on moving trucks.
Especially after you're just like, well, that's Apaches. Thanks, British government.
I wish I would have saw that as a kid. I feel like that would have fucked me up good.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, I'm never going to be around any of that. I don't care.
Well, I had a friend whose grandparents were on the farm, and we used to fuck around, and I feel like we could have seriously got hurt.
Would it have swayed you at all that they were British?
No.
I wouldn't have been able to move past it. Knowing me as a kid, I'd be like, they sound funny. They sound weird. Is this Harry Potter or what?
Oh, honey.
Next up, we have a beautiful PSA called The Finishing Line. This is a controversial PSA, all right? This is a surreal nightmare is what this PSA. This is a fucked, like, weird...
Like a Hodorowski movie.
It is, yeah. It's a Hodorowski movie. It feels like a Michael Haneke movie or like a Lars von Trier movie or some shit. It feels weird. It all takes place inside the mind of a demented child who thinks of 4 horrible, tragic, sickening games that you can play on a train track. This whole PSA is about, don't
on a train track? All right.
Go near train tracks. And they decide to be like, well, what if it was from the mind of a child who's thinking about going on the train tracks? And this is what they came up with. Haunting. The short starts off with the headmaster of a school warning children not to play on a train tracks, but the camera zooms slowly on the sadistic child as he starts to tell us his imagination. And when we...
It's like, what if I was to play on the train track? Or if I had other people playing on it?
We say that the headmaster of a school warns the children, it sounds like God yelling at human beings for all the wrongdoings, does it not?
Some of you have been playing on the railway again. You are old enough to understand that the railway is not the place for any kind of games.
Yeah, it does sound like God yelling at humans. This is exactly what that sounds like.
Also, worth pointing out that the actual child is sitting 50 feet in the air on a ledge on a bridge where that kid could fall off. Just the actor. They're just like, sit up there and wobble around. He's like, the wind's cold up here. He's like, shut up. The first game the sick little thinks up involves children breaking down a fence like wild animals and then running across train tracks to get points for this weird thing. Through all the chaos of the children screaming, to not even hear the girl be like, ah! She just is like, oh, they're passed out. And this is up too, because you know those kids could have moved this little girl. They could have. There's 8 of them. She weighs 30 pounds. Like, get that off the train tracks, dude. Nope.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. They just let her... Oh, okay.
Okay. And there you go.
Oh, wait, what's even horrifying is they pick the body up and they show it after it's smushed.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. They see, look, it's a flat pancake child.
Away because you're like, oh my God. Oof. And then after the fact, they're just like, nope, by the way, her bloody dead body right here. Take a look. All right, here we go. And then once again, you have to picture that this is once again inside the mind of a child. And then you move on to game 2, which it just, the game is throwing rocks at trains, which I have heard, people have thrown rocks at trains before, but the point system is like, if you break through the windows or if you hit the people in the cart, you get points. And they're throwing these color-coded rocks at these trains. The train stops. At first, it kind of looks like, oh, he's gonna be pissed. You're like, oh shit, because even the kids are like, cut inside the train. The guy's like walking around. He's like, green through the rock through the window. Fantastic. And it like the camera pans out a bit and there's a guy like, oh, like blood everywhere. He's like, all right, hit a passenger. Walking through and then the train conductor's like, like.
Just everybody's dead. That's just fucked up.
Bloodied and battered, and they do another point system. You get more points for breaking the kid's face open. My God! You move on to game 3. The next game is some weird game of chicken where the kids have to run across the track while the train goes like 100 miles an hour. The game makes no sense. It's like a person has to stand with a sign. By the time the train gets to the sign, the person flips it like a go. It's on stop and it goes to go. And they're supposed to run across, but instead like 7 kids just get plowed. And you're like,
I remember again when I was young, we lived right by a set of freight train tracks, and there was these 2 kids that were running back and forth across the tracks as a train was coming, and they wouldn't get off the tracks, and I was like screaming and screaming and screaming. Yeah, I remember that. They didn't get hit. They finally got off the tracks just in time, but it was still fucking...
They do their little tallies up again and people are just like, oh shit, oh there goes my team. It's a goddamn massacre. It's 6 to 10 kids just brutally murdered and there's just blood all over the tracks. It's gruesome as shit. And then game 4 is, this kind of messed me up a little bit. It's called the Great Tunnel Walk. Does that not sound just cryptid and horrifying? The objective of the game is to walk down a 3-mile pitch black dark train track and to see who gets on the other side first. Here's the kicker: they send trains down the tunnel, so you gotta just play, and there's no lights on the train. That's one thing I saw too. Whenever watching the video, I'm like,
on the train. How does that work? That just sounds dangerous.
There's no lights on the train, so you can hear it coming, but good luck! And like it takes a weird moment, and the camera pans down to the tunnel, and you just see like this kid like limping, covered in blood, walking out, whatever, and they're like, "Great job, you got first, okay? What's your name?" Like, and you see like kids limping out, and then of course everyone else in the tunnel is just dead. Then it cuts to a bunch of parents carrying hordes of dead children and like laying them ceremoniously on the track, and it's like this actually kind of artistically like pretty cool shot, but I was just like, just a weird sadistic game, which honestly, these kind of things, I'm like, of course a child would think of this. You know what I mean? It's like no empathy or care. They're just like, and then people had to walk through the train, and whoever comes out first wins. Which
children are fucking creepy and psychopathic. I'm sorry, they are. They just are. This is why you have to teach them about sympathy and empathy and caring.
The final shot of the film is you zoom out of a child's face as he still thinks about his train game. Like the film doesn't even end with him being like, nah, I'm okay. It's him still being like, what other game can I think of? This is a more evil PSA. This one, the other ones, you're like, oh, the kids, you know, sure, there's some funny stuff. This one, I was like, that's a psychopath. And at the end, like how you're supposed to be like, don't go near trains. It's like, no, stay away from kids dangling off a 50-foot train archway.
When I was at a train, my mom told me don't play by the train tracks. There's this story of these two 10-year-olds who stole like a 3-year-old and threw rocks at him at a train track and let him get run over by a train track. That shit fucked me up for life. My mom told me when I was like 8 years old.
We need to start making a PSA for your ass, dude, for real. The last PSA we're talking about is Building Sites Bite, made in 1978. The film was made to warn children of the dangers of playing on construction sites. And it was made in response to more than 20 children dying in 1977 due to building sites accidents. 20 children, that's a lot.
Why are we letting children play on a building site? I don't understand.
Why are you in construction building sites? Farms, you can be like, oh, animals, or oh, like my family works on it. What the fuck is bringing your child to work? You know, like why are you there? The film all takes place inside the head of a boy named Paul and his sadistic fantasy of torturing his cousin Ronald. The British really had a hard on for like being like, it's all from the perspective of a weird child.
Yeah, British people are strange. They really are strange.
As you see, Ronald wants to be an architect or a surveyor when he's older, but his cousin Paul thinks he's stupid and he looks like a toad. And there's a very uncanny incident where you like have him wear a toad mask and he's like, ribbit, ribbit. I remember I was like, you can tell Ronald's a bit of a timid little bird. And I think his probably not so intelligent cousin is jealous. And he's just like, oh, you're so special. You look like a fucking frog. Also, the way Paul is looking at Ronald is so seductive. The only thing he didn't do was do the lip bite. Otherwise than that, he was just like,
oh God.
Paul has the sick and twisted thought of wanting to stick Robert in a construction site and see if it'll get him killed, because he's
that's fucked up.
Just like, you could never live here in this deconstructed neighborhood of misfits like me and my sister live in, eh? So he puts Ronald through a ringer of tests to see if his construction site knowledge holds up and if he would survive. We move on to our test. Test number 1. Ronald ignores every warning sign that is in front of him. He randomly picks up a stick and starts stoking the flames of an already burning fire.
Okay. Well, sounds like Ronald's not going to be a very good builder.
He kind of like aggressively shoves at it like a primate. Ronald's like walking around like a weird ditch. He sees his dog down there. He's waiting for people to rescue him. The walls miraculously cave in and crush him. And you just see his dead hand.
Oh.
Test 2. Jesus. Ronald walks into a dilapidated house. Again, Ronald ignores the danger signs and walks up the stairs and almost falls out a window. Ronald grabs a live wire and gets electrocuted.
Jesus Christ. This is all in the mind of a fucking kid who hates his cousin. This is nuts. Okay.
There's just something about the child death screams that are just so funny. Ronald's having a hard time through these tests. He is in a literal jigsaw torture trap right now in the mind of a sadistic child, and he is not winning the game. Test 3. Ronald has to traverse a field full of heavy work machinery when his dog Snoopy watches Ronald get crushed by a tractor.
Hi, Snoopy, stay there. I'm gonna get you.
A bloody shoe is all that remains. We can't show that shoe. That shoe is caked in blood, dude.
Jesus Christ. That's insane. You cannot show the movie is so gory that you can't show it on YouTube. That's crazy.
Test 4. Ronald walks through a brick house renovation, but then Ronald unfortunately slips on a pipe.
Jesus.
You know what's serious? He's dressed like a 53-year-old man, too. It doesn't help. He kind of just, he's like this weird, surreal creature walking around dying on construction site.
What does he have, like pants up to his armpits and shit?
Dude. Test 5. Ronald plays in sand. His dog watches Ronald get smashed by a ton of bricks while he's playing in sand.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
This kid, and they keep snapping him back, like reviving him,
And the poor dog is like whining, like
having him do these tests, but he gets crushed or is just laying bloodied and battered at the end of every fucking test.
What's really funny is throughout the whole thing, they keep telling him read the signs, and every skit is him ignoring the signs.
Ronald, read the sign. Okay, maybe I will. And then he gets electrocuted. Ah! And then the last test, test 6, the crane, which Ronald's cousin watch him drown to death.
oh.
Oh no! Do something, Paul! What can I do? Are you sure he can't swim? Of course! Ronald! Ronald! Ronald!
Not even much of a fight, it's just him under the water. But luckily,
That's
it was all a fantasy and
horrifying.
Ronald's fine. I feel like the real Ronald could have survived that, dude.
I feel like the real Ronald needs to stay the fuck away from his cousin Paul.
He was well put together. I think the little pig cousin, I think he's the one who would have been drowning and tripping and all that stuff, you know what I mean? In conclusion, scaring kids to get them to learn lessons is very valuable and funny, and I think we should continue to do it. I think scaring children is one of the funnest things to do. See you next time. No. Fairy tales and stories and urban legends just aren't enough, dude.
Nope.
Instilling fear with these PSAs, I think, needs to be a long-standing tradition, and I'm glad that these epicenters of knowledge exist today, and I think that we need to bring them back, dude. I don't know how, but we need to bring it back. Until next time, these are some creepy, weird British PSAs, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
That was fucking terrifying. That was...
It's something funny, Hunter. Something funny.
That was horrifying. Oh my god. I can't even with that. All right. Let's see here. Where are we here? Let's see if we can find some of our own. Let's see what we can find here. Now I'm on a kick. No, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna go do some work on my short story. So I will be back later today for the actual main Blind Press Live. I just wanted to hang out for a little bit. But I'm gonna go do some writing, and yeah, I'm just going to I'll be back later on today. Oops, I'll be back later on today, so be sure to come and say hi. And I will see you guys later. And be sure to come watch the video that I posted up at 8 o'clock this morning. So I will see you later on the live stream. Bye, guys.